Sit up straight. Press your hands down, roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. Keep this lift as you release your hands to your thighs and close your eyes. Descend your thighs. With even and equal weight of your two sitting bones, lengthen up through the front of your body. Press your shoulder blades into your back ribs to lift your chest and broaden across your collarbones. Soften your neck and throat. Release your jaw. Rest your tongue into the base of your mouth. Take slow, even breaths. And then gently open your eyes. Extend your legs out. And we'll do this one first. So this is for comfort. You have a folded blanket in front of you. You cross your legs on top of the blanket. So that your feet are close to your knees. And then come forward. And spread your toes since your feet are probably off the floor or not pressing into the floor. See if you can get a grip. That could be a complete sentence. See if you can get a grip in your outer buttocks, the sides of the buttocks, so you can grip there. Come back up. Change the cross of your legs. Come forward. Forward is a continuum. Spread your toes. And then grip your buttocks, or the sides of your buttocks, your outer hips, somewhere in that area. You could put your head on the floor. I can't. The possibility is there. Come back up. Stretch your legs out. Spread your toes. Take your right ankle over your left knee. Take your left hand and put it between your toes. So each finger has a spot to go in. And then bend your other leg. Now take your right knee toward your left ankle, or towards the floor. And see how close your torso and your shin can be. Like this. Then take your other leg and move it across, so that your legs stack neatly on each other. They may not do this. If they do this, then you have another hand to put in your other foot. If this looks like this, then that's not, if you can't reach your other foot, stick with this one. All right, and then release your toes, stretch your legs out. Spread your toes, take your left ankle over your right knee. Work your fingers in. And then bend your right leg. Move your right knee towards the floor, or your left knee towards the floor. My right, your left. And then try to bring the shin as close to the chest as possible. This used to not be done, well, the fingers thing is weird, but this used to not be done in Iyengar yoga, but I think it's done now. And of course, well. Then take your right leg across, if that's available to you. And then you can, I think it's a good way to warm up the hips. We're going to be working on Ardha Chandrasana today, Trikonasana today, Anantasana, all things that help if you have a little bit of opening in the hips. Yes, you can also come forward in this position, as Bob is doing. So once this gets boring, you come forward and you can rest your head towards the floor. This isn't boring for me yet, so I'll be up here. And then release your legs, release your fingers, come into Dandasana, stretch your toes. See if you can move any toes independent of all the others. So, you know, maybe a little I can move my right little toe. And I can think about moving my left little toe, but the rest come along. Kind of like twiddling your thumbs, I guess. All right, come over onto your hands and knees. Spread your palms. Tuck your toes under, come up into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Stretch the backs of your legs. Stretch the backs of your legs by lifting your quadriceps up. And then I think everyone here can lift the backs of the buttocks up. Yes. Turn your upper arms out. Move your spine towards the floor, especially the spine between your shoulder blades. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Fold forward. And here, lift the backs of the buttocks up. So all the way from the heel through the back of the calf, through the back of the leg, lifts up towards the ceiling. The fronts of the legs also lift up. And then from the lift of the legs, the torso hangs down. All right, place your hands on your hips, come all the way back up. You get 2 bricks. This is something else that's really nice for the neck. So I'm making like an equilateral triangle with my bricks and my feet as one point. So this, I'm going to show this on tall bricks, just so that everyone can do it. Okay, so just watch for a second. So I'm going to come into Uttanasana, and then the angle of my arms is a right angle, like this. So, and then I move my elbows forward. So from the side, that looks like this. All right. So the height of the blocks depends on your flexibility, but you probably want to go a little higher. So even if your hands just are on the floor, come onto your fingertips, and it'll help you move the elbows forward. So come into Uttanasana like that. And let your head hang. All right. Yes. So straighten your legs. Yes. So go take your blocks wider. Yes. And you can bring your feet together. Marsha, try taking your blocks wider. I mean, from this angle, I'm not super able to see, but I think, yes, that looks better. Okay. Okay. So there's just a little release in the back of the neck from doing this. It's a great one to do after headstand. Okay, walk the blocks back in. Come to a concave spine, so chest forward, thighs back. Lift the backs of the legs up, lift the fronts of the legs up. Extend your chest forward, away from your thighs. Keep the weight in both the front and back of your heel. If you put it more in the back of the heel, your hips shift back. Less likely you are to lean forward. But scrape your hands back to move your chest forward. Look forward. Then place your hands on your hips, come all the way back up. Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. So, blocks if you need them on the back side of your mat. Bring your hands in front of your chest. Take your arms and legs wide. Lift your quadriceps, extend through your fingertips. Turn your right leg all the way out. All right. From here, move your right hip forward and roll your left thigh out. So both thighs roll out, but think of it as the right hip coming forward and left thigh turning out. Keep that, bring your right hand down. All right. Let's see. Everyone but Laura take a bigger step. Yeah, oh, that's good, Bob. I like that. Yes. All right, then move your right thigh forward. You can even take your left arm back, and that will help you move your right thigh forward. Press through your left foot, inhale, come up. Turn your feet to the other side. Big step. Move your left hip forward, roll your right thigh back. Then with your exhalation, bring your left hand out. Now you lose a little bit on the way down. So push that left hip forward, roll the right thigh out, and then you can take the right arm a little bit back, and that will help you do that. All right, press through your left hand, right foot, and come back up to Tadasana. I don't know what these hands and feet are. Okay, let's see if I can show this. So I'm going to show what I'm talking about here as far as the hips and the shoulders. And so, because this is kind of the theme today. So if I exaggerate this and I take my top hand forward and my hips back, this makes the pose easier as far as the hamstrings go. So what I want to do is bring my front hip underneath me and take my top arm back. And then I'm sliding on my mat, so my stance is getting wider. That makes it more exciting. All right. So I want everyone to try the wrong thing first. Well, get in the pose and then we're going to try the wrong thing. And then you'll be able to feel more, I mean, it should be really wrong. It's not a moral thing. All right. So take your arms and legs wide. Turn your right leg out. You can turn your left leg in a bit, but you know when you turn, we say turn this back thigh out. So if you turn it in, it's harder to turn out. Oh. Take your right arm down. All right. Now, take your top arm forward and take the hips back. So come out of the pose, so you're leaning forward. And you'll notice that you could probably take your hand to the floor doing that or lower. So let's not do that. Move your right hip forward. More, more, more. So the right hip is really underneath you. And then you can take the left arm back. Press through your left foot. Inhale, come up. Turn your toes to the front. All right. So I assume you can see a little picture of yourself. So in the picture of yourself, are your ankles under your wrist? Or you're showing the other angle, which is fine. I can still see you, but I think your legs are wide enough. So if they're not, you need to make your legs wider. Turn your left leg out. Take your left arm down. Then take your hips back and take your right arm forward. Now do the opposite. Take your left hip forward, your right arm back. Press through your right foot, inhale, come up. Turn your toes to the front and release your hands to your hips for a little arm rest. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing in Ardha Chandrasana. So if you need something to balance on, like a wall, I suggest you move with your, you can use your back to the wall. But if you use your back to the wall, if you try to do the wrong thing, although it's a little harder to do in Ardha Chandrasana, you're gonna push yourself off the wall. All right, lift your arms up. Turn your right leg out. I'm gonna scoot this way. Take your right hand out. Take your left hand to your hip. Roll your chest towards the ceiling. Take that right buttock under. Bend your right leg. Keep taking the right buttock under. Step forward with your left leg. Take your right buttock under. Move your right hand forward. Be on the little toe side of the foot. Then, keeping your left leg straight, lift it up off the floor. And then you'll notice that if your knee is bent, it's a little easier to access your hip. So, can you roll that right hip under as you straighten the right leg? Then, if you have your balance, lift your left arm up. Even take it back. Then bring your left hand to your hip. Bend your right leg. Reach back with your left leg. Gently land on the floor. Take your left arm up. Utthita Trikonasana. Press through your left foot, inhale, come up. Other side. Turn your left leg out. Take your left hand down. Take the left buttock underneath you. Take your right hand to your hip. Roll your chest. Bend your front knee. That would be your left. Tuck your left buttock underneath you. Take your left hand to the little toe side of your foot. Step in with your right leg. Move the block forward. All right. Really work on that buttock coming under of the left leg. Straighten your right leg. Lift it off the floor. Pause there. Scoot that buttock underneath as you straighten your left leg. The straightening of the left leg lifts the right leg up. Rotate your chest towards the ceiling more and more. And you can finish the pose by taking the top arm up. That'll be your right. Be harder to bring the left arm up. Oh well. All right, bring your hand back onto your hip. Bend the front leg. Reach back with your right leg. Straighten your left, come into Utthita Trikonasana. With your next exhalation, press through your right foot. Inhale, come up. Turn your toes to the front. And step your feet back together. Okay. I almost wish I had like an aerial view. I think Bob has an aerial view. And I've tried it and it just doesn't look right. In this configuration. So we're going to do some stuff on the floor, which is always nice to hear. So the first thing we're going to do is Supta Pada Kustasana out to the side. So I'm going to press my feet into the wall, lift my right leg up. This is my right. And then I'm going to take it up to the side. And I'm just going to see how far it goes. Now, I only know one person who can that's in this class, put their leg all the way down on the floor. If I put my leg all the way down on the floor, this hip comes up. So I want the down leg, we'll say the leg at the wall, to be firm. All right. So we'll do this. Maybe we'll do this. All right. So lie on your back. If you don't need a strap, you don't need a strap. But I just thought I'd show with the strap. Feet at the wall. Press into the wall with both feet. Lift your right leg up. Hold the foot or the strap with your right hand. Take it out to the side. Yeah. So press the left leg into the floor. Pull on the right leg so that it feels like you're pushing the bones back in their socket with your arm. So really have a strong right arm. All right. Keep pressing the left leg into the floor. And bring it back up to center. right? Sometimes these long, I don't know if you can just turn your head and look at the camera, but sometimes these long holds are hard on the hands. So this is another way of doing it. So I take a looped belt and I fold it in half like this. Now I'm having trouble. And then I put it around my foot so that I have a really good grip. So you could have it just in half once, and then you could hold it like this. Or if you need a shorter, you can hold it, you can fold it. And that sometimes helps the difficulty in the hand. All right, switch sides. So press your right foot into the floor, lift your left leg up. And by pressing your right heel down, take your left leg out to the side. The more you press your right heel into the wall, the closer that thigh will come down to the floor. Then at the same time, feel like you're pulling from the heel into in your own hip socket. Lift that leg back up. Just one more quick time on each side. So right foot up, press your left heel into the wall. Now on this one, grip your right hip when you come over, so that if you let go of the strap, your leg would stay in place and it wouldn't pull you over. It'll help you stretch your inner right thigh and make the pose more integrated. When we use our muscles, it's not just floppy yoga. Not that there's anything wrong with floppy yoga, but that's not what we're working on today. Bring your right leg back up. Press your right heel into the wall, lift your left leg up. Keep pressing your right heel into the wall as you take your left leg over. Squeeze your left buttock. So that you're working the left leg enough that if you let go of the strap or the foot, your leg would stay in place. Then lift your left leg up. Release it to the floor. All right, turn on your side. And now for one of my favorite poses of all time, Anantasana. So I'm not going to say which side to lie on. But you want your feet at the wall. So I can just show really quick. So my feet are at the wall, and this isn't a good wall. Maybe if I had a brick, this has a lip. So I'm going to lie in one line. So a sticky mat is a good line for that. And then I'll lift my head up, turn my top leg out like this. And we'll work here a little bit. And then I'm going to reach my toes and lift up. So this is exactly where you were except, I mean, you can still use a strap, except you're on your side. All right, so put both feet at the wall. And first, just lie down like a reclining Buddha. If you can, if you don't have baseboards, and then press both heels into the wall. And find, so that we're putting our feet at the wall to help with balance. And then we'll try it in the center of the room. The other thing that putting both feet into the wall is interesting is that you're probably going to feel that one leg is longer when you switch sides. All right, reach your bottom arm as far away from your shoulder as possible. So you want the armpit to be on the floor. If the armpit is way off the floor, put something underneath it, like a little bit of blanket. Then bend your forearm and rest your head into your hand. Now bend your top leg into tree pose. So even here, the balance gets a little more difficult. Now move the top buttock forward. So this is the front leg in Trikonasana, the front leg in Ardha Chandrasana. And then either using a strap or grab your big toe, lift the top leg up. All right, move your top leg buttock forward as much as you can. Take the top leg heel back so that your heel is in line with the opposite arch, just like it would be for triangle pose. If you're wobbly, you're probably doing it right. All right, bend your front leg or top leg, bring it down to the floor, and spin around. I'm going to not use the wall so I can still see everybody. So line yourself up on your mat. So this is where I feel my short leg. My left leg is it's just a little tighter than my right, so it sits further away from the wall. All right, extend your arm as far away from you as you can to get that armpit really close to the floor. And then bend your elbow, rest your head in your hand. If this is too much, I should have mentioned on the other side, but if this is too much on your neck, you can keep your head down on your arm. Although sometimes this feels pretty good on your neck. It's like pulling the occiput away from the spine. The occiput is the bottom part of your skull. Now put your top leg in tree pose. Keep pushing your heel into the wall. Don't worry about it. We'll do it in the center of the room too. Then move your top buttock forward and your knee back. Then grab your foot and lift it up. Move your hip forward, your top hip. Take your heel back. And then bend your knee and release your leg down. Okay, so I'm going to give two different options. Option one, and this is not everyone has, I guess last week was a wall class. Not everyone has enough wall to do this one. And this is actually a cheat wall because there's a little bit of, but I'm gonna lie against the wall like this and lift my leg up. So that's option one. Option two is to do the same pose in the center of the room. This one is harder. The wall is harder. And you will find, well, you'll find out why. So lie on your side with or without the wall. Then lift your head up. And actually, one thing about this pose is usually your head's a little bit back, but in this case, it won't be. Now put your top leg in Vrikshasana. And you may feel here that you've already been pushed off the wall. That's because your butt's sticking out. So you really have to push hard with your bottom leg to keep yourself, even if you're in the center of the room, you have to push hard with your bottom leg to keep yourself upright. Then, I have to come out a little bit to get the strap on. Lift your leg up. So, the wall of truth, especially if you're tight-hipped, you will find that this is much harder to do against the wall because your hips won't allow this kind of opening. If you're more open-hip, it's not as difficult, but it's still, it reminds you how much the top hip has to move forward. The top buttock has to move forward. All right, switch sides. If you're in the center of the room, then you just have to balance, so there's not as much balance against the wall. So you have that challenge. Get yourself against the wall on the other side or in the center of the room. Stretch your armpits. Come into reclining Buddha. This pose on Anantasana is sometimes called Vishnu's couch. I believe Anantasana was the couch, not Vishnu. All right, bend your top leg. Place it in tree pose. So move your hip forward and wherever you are. So you're not leaning into the wall, you're actually trying to get away from the wall. Then place the strap on your foot, or you can grab your toes and lift your leg up. You have to come away from the wall a little bit in order to get the foot, because then your hips do stick out. So Anantasana, I think, is a very safe pose to try. It's considered a more difficult pose in Ladder Yoga. But I think it gets you ready to do other things. All right, bend your leg, release it down. Come into downward dog. That's a lot of work on the hips. Stretch them out. All right, walk your hands and your feet towards each other, whichever direction you want to go, and stand up. So again, I'm going to show something. We're doing Parshva Utthita Hastapadagasasana with the wall. But we're coming into it a little different way. So I'll bring my right foot up like this. And then, go ahead and use the strap. I'm going to move my right buttock underneath, like we've been working on all class, and then keep that. I'm actually a little too close to the wall, or my foot has to be higher up. And keep that tuck underneath as I straighten my standing leg. My standing leg stays straight as I straighten the lifted leg. Now, in the book, I believe his foot is in line. This one may not be in the book. Anyway, foot in line with the shoulder, but wherever you are, so you have to kind of decide how far away from the wall. It's going to be closer than if you were doing Trikonasana. So, yeah, that's in one of the books, Ty. Yeah, you could use a chair. Bring your right leg up. Or whatever leg you want. I'm going to talk as if you're bringing your right leg up. You can place the strap around your right foot or not. Now, move your right buttock underneath of you with the knee bent. It's easier to access with the knee bent. Then keep that and straighten your right leg. Turn your torso to the left, so away from your right leg. Bend your right knee. Release your right foot to the floor. See where your left foot is. And then just, hopefully you're the same, or close enough. Put your right foot where your left foot was. Left leg at the wall. So I guess I can show this way. So, get out of the way. So when I lift my leg up, my buttock sticks out. So I roll it under, rotate my chest to the right, and then straighten my left leg with the left buttock coming underneath. Lower that leg down. Take your legs wide apart. Prasarada Padottanasana. Exhale, fold forward. Bring your hands to the floor. Lower, wider feet, I think. Yeah. And then walk your hands back, lower your head down. Walk your hands forward, lift your chest. Place your hands on your hips, come all the way back up. Stand up. All right, choice time. Option one. But there's an extra thing. Lift up, out to the side. I think we did this recently. Back to the center. Option two. Out to the side. And you can go forward too. You can also do this way. So pick something and try that. Yeah. There we are. And you don't have to stay there, Laura. You can move back and forth, everyone actually, between the different. So lift one leg up and then move it to the side and then come back down. And they are all challenging. There wasn't something I gave that was like sleepy. When you breathe, when you have your hands at the wall and you're bringing your leg out to the side, see if you can keep your hips stable. So they don't lean. And even the standing one for me is super challenging because of the shift in the hips. My hips are pretty much made out of jello, and it makes it harder. There's a lot of core work there, and all of them, but to keep your hips in one line. I'm just waiting for everyone to finish up. If you're done, you can rest in Uttanasana. All right. Lie on your back, getting ready for Chatush Padasana. You could have a blanket for your shoulders. I'm going to show with a blanket for my shoulders. Just so, I think I need to scoot back just a touch to see. So I like to have enough, you don't have to, enough blanket that I can press my entire upper arm into the blanket. All right, press my heels down, lift my hips, roll my shoulders under. So come into Chatush Padasana whenever you're ready. or not. Yeah. Knees a little closer together, Bob. I think they're kind of going out. There we go. Really roll your shoulders under. Press your hips high. Then come back down. Now you can either repeat that or come back up and lift one leg up. You could take it out to the side if you have a really strong core. So the up is more about the back of the body, the side is more about the front of the body. So come up, roll your shoulders under, get high. It's a little easier. It's a little easier if you're high. And then lift one leg at a time. You could lift both if you have like some kind of magic power, but. All right, and then come down. Okay, so the next choice one is Sarvangasana, shoulder stand. I'll show the options for that. So this is my shoulder stand setup. I'm even using more blankets than I used to. The other option is the pose you just did with a brick. Like this. And then you can lift one leg up, you can lift both legs up. Take one leg down. All right, because that's what we're going to be doing in Sarvangasana. So I'll show that really quick. I'm going to show from this way. So you're going to get a weird view of me when I come up, but other than that, I want you to see the legs. So come up into regular Sarvangasana. And then we'll take one leg halfway down. Do that on both sides. And then sometimes this leg goes at a, I don't know if you can see this, looks like this, a 45-degree angle. Today I want you to try to take it at a 90-degree angle as much as possible. And you'll see how much this outer buttock needs to work as well as your core. All right? So either Setu Bandha on a brick or Sarvangasana, shoulder stand. Setu Bandha on a brick, you can still lift one leg. All right. When you come into, we'll be there in a second, Chaya, so let's come into, don't turn your head. Come into regular shoulder stand or plow is fine. All right. There we go. All right. So either lift one leg up or one leg down, depending on where you are. It goes straight down, so not across, although that sometimes is done. Then lift that leg back up. Find your balance in shoulder stand. And then take the other leg down. So straight, to begin with, over your head or towards your head. And then lift that leg back up. Now turn your right leg out 90 degrees. If you're on a block, not quite so far. And then bring it down wherever it will go when you can still keep the left leg in control. So squeeze your right glute. That'll help you take the leg to the side, and it'll also help you keep control. Lift the right leg back up. Turn your left leg out 90 degrees. As much as it will turn, actually. I don't think it will turn beyond 90. I haven't seen it. And take the leg out to the side. That's good, Bob. Squeeze your left glute. And then lift the leg back up. Find your balance and shoulder stand again. All right, because we can, bring your legs into Baddha Konasana. Baddha Konasana, squeeze both glutes. Move your heels further forward and your toes back. Then take both legs wide, like a upright Upavista Konasana. Squeeze both glutes. See how close to the middle splits you can get. A little harder when you're having to support the weight of the legs. Bring your feet back into Baddha Konasana. Feet together, knees apart. Then come back up into Sarvangasana. Take your feet over your head, or however you come back down. All right, roll to your side. And it occurs to me, there was a pose we didn't do today. It was child's pose. So come into child's pose. I mean, you might have done it, but I don't think I said anything about doing it. All right, come up to the sitting in Dandasana. So I'm sitting on some support because there are areas of my body that are tight. And my hamstrings aren't one of them, but when I bend my knee, I have a hard time staying upright. So if that's true for you too, sit on some height. We're going to do Marichasana 3. Because everything was about external rotation, Marichasana 3 has a slight internal rotation. So your left leg is straight, your right leg is bent. Lift up. Yeah. Let me see the knee thing, Kathy. okay, so it's just a piece of sticky mat. Okay. Wrap your left arm around your knee, take your right hand behind, and rotate to your right. Look overneath. Look overneath. It could be a word. Look over your right shoulder. Keep your left leg engaged. Then turn your head, look over your other shoulder, your left shoulder. Keep turning. Turn your abdomen, turn your chest. Turn your head, stretch your neck. The best way to stretch your neck is to bring both shoulder blades into your back. Then turn around to the front. Stretch your right leg out, bend your left leg. Bring the left leg in close. Keep your right leg active, engaged. Pull under your knee, lift your chest. Then wrap your right arm around your knee, the left hand behind, and turn to the left. You begin by looking over your left shoulder, but keep your shoulder blades going closer to each other. And keep everything else where it is. Look over your right shoulder. Turn more and more. And come around back to the front. Stretch both legs out. Yeah, we'll do it again. Bend your right leg. It's really quick. Hold on to your right leg. See if you move your right knee to the left, see if you can get your elbow around. If you don't normally get your elbow around, this is not a chunky person's pose. All right. And then when you turn, your elbow might, the other way, Kathy. Turn to your right. Unless you are menstruating. So you're going across your knee. So, yes. Rachasana 3. One of the advantages of teaching morning classes is, there's not too many people that are menstruating. I'll teach that. All right, return to the front. Switch legs. Bend your left leg. You can move your left leg to the right to get your elbow around. And then as you turn to the left, your elbow and your knee press against each other to help you turn. All right, then return to the front. Stretch both legs out. You can have a little pillow for your head for Paschimottanasana. Lean forward. Rest your head down. So pillows are adjustable. When you're done with that, you can lie back in Shavasana. So in Shavasana, Roll your shoulders under. So just like we began, be broad across your collarbones. Soften your neck and throat. Release your jaw. Rest your tongue into the base of your mouth. And use the next few moments to focus on your breath. Deepen your breath. Bend your knees. Support your head as you roll to your side. Roll a little further to your side and use your arms to lift yourself back up to seated. Take your arms wide, lift your chest. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Think of something you're grateful for. Namaste.